Right, 12th October 2025, and today I want to give you an early evening update because a lot has been happening behind the scenes. So I want to go into the facts before I go into my own opinions. So what has happened is that a disagreement has now broken out in the camp that would expect to oppose Mnangagwa. So that is the group aligned to Nyokayemabhunu and the group aligned to Chiwenga and Gaza. So as you are aware, these two groups are not the same groups. So Gaza and Chiwenga are one group with some of the war veterans. And the Nyokayemabhunu group has been taken over by General Sithole, people like Kasukuwere, other people over there in that group that support, obviously, the removal of Mnangagwa, but they are different groups. So a breakout of disagreement has happened, and I'm now going to show you what has happened. So the Nyokayemabhunu group, which has now been taken over by General Sithole, Kasukuwere, and such people on that side, is refusing to become part of the protest until certain agreements are reached. So let me show you what they're saying. So in a group chat that has been put out, a statement has been put out, and more statements are going to be put out tonight. This group has said as follows. So let us read. So they've said, these are our demands before we go full force in preparation for 17 October final push. No mentioning of presidential candidates to take over. That mandate must be given to the masses. We need to know the position of the Gaza revolution towards the murder of a fellow Zimbabwean in Mutoko. The position of the Gaza revolution towards the criminal elements of China and are displacing our people from their ancestral land. We drafted these demands to protect the mass from an inheritance of the same system which is giving us problems. So I want you guys to understand what is happening. So Mnangagwa, he wants a removal of Mnangagwa and replacement with Chiwenga. The Gaza group does not want that. They want a protest and then people sit down and have some sort of transitional system. Then they choose the leader and so forth. So hence this demand that they've put out. The Nyokayemabhunu group was taken over. So these are not the group, the views of Nyokayemabhunu. These are the views of General Sithole and the people around him. And we're going to bring General Sithole here. I promise that I'm going to bring General Sithole here later tonight so that we can clarify what is going on. So that is the demands from the side of Nyokayemabhunu group or the people that are that side. I don't know what Saruwaka is going to say. I'm waiting for Saruwaka to talk within the next few minutes. Saruwaka is going to address. So let's see what time he's going to address. It's very important for you to understand. The Saruwaka group is growing. It now has 16,000 followers. The Nyokayemabhunu group is collapsing from 102,000. It now has 82,000 followers. Mnangagwa and Chiwenga and the people on their side, they have a group called General Chiwenga supporters, which has got 15,000 people. So if you look at the number of people that are following these statements, the biggest group is the Nyokayemabhunu group, which was formed after the takeover of the Nyokayemabhunu group. So Nyokayemabhunu is the most followed person in Zimbabwe, without a doubt. He's got over 400,000 people right now from the old group and the new group. The old group was taken over by ZANU-PF and agents. When they arrested him, they took over his phone. However, 102,000 people followed Nyokayemabhunu. The group that is now being held by General Sithole, Kasukuwere, and all these other people is the one that says we don't want Chiwenga to be nominated as president up front. So you need to understand that. Now let's go to what the Chiwenga group says. It's called the General Chiwenga for President Traore Updates. So initially it was called Traore Updates, and now it's called General Chiwenga for President Traore Updates. This is the Gaza aligned group. They want Chiwenga to take over immediately as Mnangagwa leaves. So let's look at what they're saying. So I'm going to share with you the message that they've put out so that you can understand. I want you guys to understand what's going on. Then I'll give you my opinion. So here is the statement from the General Chiwenga for President group. And it says, it is obvious upon the removal of Mnangagwa, General Chiwenga will be the president until 2028, when we go for elections and people will decide again. Every political step that we take as a people must be cognizant of the fact we can't wish it away, but the elephant in the room for Zimbabwe is Emerson and his Uganda, and we're saying let's unite and as a people against corruption, state capture and looting that is being perpetrated by Uganda, with their leader being Emerson. We have other challenges as Zimbabweans that needs to be attended to later on after this removal that have become a national problem that is threatening our existence, war being as Zimbabweans. Honestly, how can someone say we want to know what is Comrade Gaza's opinion in regard to killing of Zimbabwean brother? We all know the answer to that. We need to do this as Zimbabweans, torega kuda kuisa miono inoparadzanisa vanhu une uchenjeri usingadi chakanaka. So this is in Shona. Zvema extra lessons zvakatanga rini takataura zvisino asi vanhu vaingopana zvisi izvo zvikuona mambo chaiko pakubhadhariswa. So I'm just saying here that top part is important, the rest is angano or stories. So let's now go to the differences, and I want you guys to then go and take my opinion on this whole matter. There are two groups, all of them powerful. The Gaza group, which is organizing, which is made up of war veterans, and also the youngsters that are aligned to Mdara Gaza. Mdara Gaza and Chiwenga, they don't have a team. I've always said this to you. The people that are running the group aligned to Nyokayemabhunu, they have a team. So if you look at Kasukuwere, if you look at General Sithole, if you look at Anamunyoro, all these people, they do have a team. So that's the difference between the Chiwenga team and Kasukuwere's team. The reason why Kasukuwere has a team is because he's not in government. So he can set up his structures, they can go into deals, they can go into agreements. Chiwenga is looking and hoping that people will support him and will allow him to go into office and take over without a challenge. That is the problem now that we have. And I've always said this, that we are heading towards a big problem if this is not addressed. Firstly, we need to focus on elections. So if Mnangagwa was to be removed, there must not be a period of Chiwenga must take over and go for 3 years, or this thing where we don't know exactly what is going to go on. We want a defined process. That is what I would want. I'm not part of the organizers. I'm not connected to any of the guys. But because I was so involved with Nyokayemabhunu, when Nyokayemabhunu started out, I can assure you that the issue of a transitional authority was well articulated by Mdara Gaza in the beginning. So it was articulated that there will be a transitional authority, and if you go back to the old videos by Nyokayemabhunu, it is well articulated. The problem we're facing now is that we've gotten to a point where there's now one person nominated, but the person is not speaking. So Chiwenga himself has not said he wants to remove Mnangagwa. He has not spoken. People are nominating him. You might find out on the day you remove Mnangagwa that Chiwenga turns around and says to you, I don't want to be president. I've said this before. Chiwenga has never said he wants to be president. He wants to fix the country. He wants to fix corruption. He wants to deal with Jonathan changing constitutional issues. He never said he wants to be president and remove Mnangagwa tomorrow. So now we have people who are speaking on behalf of Chiwenga because Chiwenga does not have a spokesperson or a spokesman. And People are now going out on his behalf and making statements. On the other hand, I don't trust Kasukuwere at all. Myself, I don't trust Kasukuwere. Kasukuwere is always operating from the dark. He's always operating. You don't know what he's doing. He never makes a statement for an opposition leader. He's always going on Twitter. He never comes out with a manifesto to say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. There's nothing stopping Kasukuwere from talking because he's outside Zimbabwe. Why is Kasukuwere quiet? That means he has a principle. So Kasukuwere has a principle. And who is his principle? I don't think it's safe for us to go with someone who's got a principle and we don't know who is the principal. We're going to get used. So here we have a problem. We have Chiwenga who is quiet. Mnangagwa has said he nominates Chiwenga to be president. On the other hand, we've got Kasukuwere who is quiet, but he's got a team that is making statements. And I believe that Kasukuwere has a principle. And who is his principal? What if the principal of Kasukuwere is Mnangagwa? And you say you're going to remove Mnangagwa, and then Kasukuwere turns out to be working for Mnangagwa. What are you going to do now? So we need to be careful with this situation, and we need clarity. So what I'm going to do is later on, we are going to call both sides, which is Traore. We're going to call him, and then we're going to call General Sithole, and then we're going to call Saruwaka. We're going to do it within the next few hours or whenever they are available, so that we understand. This fight is serious, and the issues being discussed here are not trivial. You can't remove a president without a plan. You must say, I want to remove Mnangagwa. I want people to be arrested. What if they arrest you? Like tomorrow they take out Mnangagwa. Then they just arrest everyone. What are you going to do now? Who are they going to arrest? What is the criteria of arrest? So now we have the arrest Jugananda slogan. How do we know who's going to be arrested? Who's going to be doing the arresting? So we now have to be clear here. And I've said, and I've offered Mnangagwa to come here and talk, because we don't want a problem after the removal of Mnangagwa, or if something happens on Friday next week, we turn around and we find out that we're in a worse off position than when we started. So that's what I wanted to say. Let's go to the comments. Grace Jones says, Gambakwe, Totonga Isu. Who are you, Grace Jones? Come over here and tell us who you are. We don't want people operating in the shadows. So that is what we want to be clear. Who are you? Who is this person making these determinations that we will not go into the protest if we don't follow these conditions? You have seen the conditions here that are put out. These are our demands. Who is making these demands? And if Mnangagwa is a cause for a protest, who can tell people don't go into a protest because you haven't met these demands? So we need to be clear who are the players behind this. And this is the disagreement that is broken out right now as we speak. So I think other comments we have here is iwe Gambakwe problem yako ndei uri kutykawo iwe because uri ZANU live ndotyka chi Edmo zvataurwa zveparty here. Is there anyone who talked about a party here? So Mnangagwa came out and said this is not about a political party. Are you now saying this is about a party? I'm not in ZANU. I don't want ZANU to perpetuate what has been happening. So I don't want to say when ZANU PF sees the new government is about to end, they put a new one and a new leader of ZANU again. And we keep going like that. We don't want that. We don't want coup. I don't want a coup. Myself, I don't support a coup. I want elections. We've said it to you. We want elections. So I've never said on any day that we want a removal of Mnangagwa through the barrel of a gun. So if you guys are saying you know something, tell us. Tell us what you know. Causing confusion. Yes, Cecilia Chikwanda, they are causing confusion. We are behind Chiwenga. Baba Veduva Geza, whoever willing to work with them, at least they have a proven to the people of heart. Okay, yes, that's why I'm saying let's call Traore here so that he can unpack. Let's call General Sithole. They've all issued statements. I'm not issuing these statements for you, so that when people go on the street, we are clear. And I've said to you myself, I'm not a member of ZANU. I don't care about their disagreements in ZANU. We want elections. We are preparing for 2028. I'm not interested in things that have got no plan. Either way, it does not make sense to me to just go into another thing that does not make sense. All right, I think we've covered everything. So I'll give you guys a few hours. Then we'll look at Traore and General Sithole. If possible, we'll get Saruwaka. These are three different groups. But I think of all these groups, the most level-headed person right now, who has not said anything, is Saruwaka. Then Saruwaka is about to address. So he's going to address within the next few. So this was said at 4:30. That is going to address, but he hasn't addressed as yet. So I'm going to ask Saruwaka when he's going to address. We don't want chaos. We want order. So order is necessary. But you know my opinions and my views. I want elections 2028. That is what I want. I do not want a chaos or someone randomly doing things. And we need proper people to take leadership. So we don't want just people like these people that you don't know. We want people who come out and you say there's a protest, it needs to be guided. So this person is going to guide this is the official voice. We wanted official voice of the protest. All right. I think I've covered everything. My job is to give you everything. But General Sithole said we support the mass action. Here is the statement by General Sithole. These are our demands before we go in preparation of full. Don't listen to someone who's got a side. I don't have a side. So don't listen to someone who's no side. It's starting to rain, so the big noise. So I'll talk to you guys in a few hours. We need to clarify this whole situation today. But the takeover by Chiwenga has become a talking point and a point of disagreement. So let's see what happens by the time we go to bed. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And let me just say before I go, so let's close this door so that we. All right. 1 second. So my door is closed so that I can say one thing I want to say. We are eventually going to have to make a decision about Chiwenga. So myself, I'll eventually have to make a statement on whether I support what Chiwenga is doing or not. But that is going to come after we clarify what these guys are going to say. So once we clarify what Saruwaka, Traore, and General Sithole says, I'll then tell you my position on Chiwenga regarding the protest. So I'll tell you that after the discussions here that would have taken place. And it's very important for you to understand that at the moment, I believe that there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done. I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and I'll see you as soon as we've got some news on this disagreement. And a good evening to you all.